Hi, I'm Laurie Dobson. Today is February 25th, 2021, and I'm on actually the island of Mount Desert. So I just came over on the ferry from Great Cranberry this morning. I've got some errands to run. And today I've been thinking about this, the way reality seems skewed towards both sides of the vaccine issue. It seems sort of a very cleanly cut divide, and it seems to be getting more and more separated out in the realities of each side. And what's bizarre is it's happening so close to home. There's like in Romeo and Juliet when they say there's a plague on both houses. So I think it is affecting us as a plague, not just the plague. The COVID is a name for this general split, that it's going to be the COVID war. Really, it's going to be historically known as the time when things got set so that they were cleaner, cut between different people in their ideologies. And by cleaner, I don't mean a kinder cut. I think it's a very evil thing that's happening right now, because people want to be united, and we had a civil war to unite ourselves. We made a decision as a country to do that, and we fought for it. We fought for it over and over again. We did divide from England, and that didn't actually seem to work, because we're still ruled so much by the Bank of London and by all of the oligarchs firmly positioned there and ruling things and making policy for so long. And it's a plague. It's been a plague for both sides. We don't really see it because we don't think that we have anything in common with those that are on the other side of the issue. And I'm talking about if you're for vaccinations and masks and social distancing, or if you're not. There are people that believe in masks because it's a convenience, that wouldn't normally be doing that, but don't believe in the vaccination. Really don't believe in the other protocols, but they're willing to do them because they think it's out of courtesy. And I'm one of them. I have to say, I have my mask in my pocket, and I hate it, and I have to do it to shop. And I am compromising myself that way, but I wear it as little as humanly possible. I talk to people about it. I smile when I see another person without a mask. I dip my mask down my nose. I let them know I have solidarity, but I'm not out there trying to start trouble just yet, but I'm getting there. I think springtime I'm going to be right there. Because I want to get through the February, March flu season, because I do think, even though they're calling the COVID everything, that they've disappeared the flu, they're ignoring it like it never existed before, which is not exactly a scientific thing to do. But while that's happening, we all know that there is a high risk of flu in this season, and because it is the season, but it's tapering down. So come March, come St. Patrick's Day, we should all be we should be taking off these masks. We should be doing that. We should be doing it now and getting some fresh air. Like they believed in during the Spanish pandemic. They would open the windows. They would design buildings so they could open up and expose people to sunlight and air. They understood about vitamin D, and they understood about oxygen, and they understood about fresh air and not breathing stale air and circulating air. Toxins are 200 times more prevalent inside than outside. General just toxins. So we know a lot, and we're pretending we don't, to allow ourselves to be divided because we are not choosing the alternative. And when I say a plague on both houses, I mean it truly is a plague that we're asking and visiting upon ourselves. But we're not just doing it on ourselves. We're not just depriving ourselves of our freedom because we've chosen not to be free, not to act free in every single step of our lives, not to have an attitude of freedom where, of course I'm free. Of course I'm free. It's not a freedom passport, by the way. It's not that you do this and then you can be free. No, you have freedom as a birthright. That is your you came to this earth, you came as a human being, and you should be free. There's no excuse for you not choosing and acting on your own behalf to be free in your own self, or you're not a sovereign individual. You're a subset of yourself. You're a shadow of who you are. You're not stepping out and declaring who you are for the world to know, for the world to get to understand and value and treat as a human, a human with full rights and abilities to be able to achieve everything you can in your life every single ability, inside of you, activated and charged. Happiness, it's a byproduct of choosing freedom, I think. So anyway, I haven't been particularly happy with this lack of freedom that I've been allowing myself to be usurping. I feel that I'm undermining myself. I'm undervaluing myself when I don't act fully free. So I have to take more steps to do that. That's how I get the plague off of my side. About the rest of us, I think it's some of us just need more information before we're really ready to step outside of that compliance. We need to be more firm in our understanding. We think, however, we really don't need more information. I have so much information, so many videos on my lined up and backed up on my phone. I cannot get through them. 24 hours a day, I could not listen to everybody out there telling me and repeating over and over again what I understand to be true. My truth is that this is a cover, a fairly obvious cover for taking our countries and our world and putting everybody into prison. So they don't have to send you anywhere. You just have to stay where you are. It's sort of called the music stopped and you're not allowed to have your life anymore. The music being your life. It's now their life and you just wait for orders. You wait in your room waiting for orders. And if you don't like those analogies, you've got to recognize the discomfort that you feel is that it feels true, that it feels like what is going on. So the other plague on the other side of this thing that I see is, and by the way, on my side, I will say that it's kindness for those who are still suffering. If you're free in your mind, your actions are with yourself. Your struggle is with yourself, not with others. You have to do what your conscience is demanding of you. You have to stop lying. You have to be honest. You have to talk about this, and you have to make it happen better if you are not with this program, as you should not be. You should not be participating in this. If you're on the other side of this and you're pro-COVID, when I say pro-COVID, I mean you're one of the people, enforcers. You're a COVID enforcer, okay? You're a COVID rules enforcer, or whatever you want to call it. But whose rules are they? They're outside of you. They're arbitrary. You've accepted them. And what was it that made you accept those rules? What was it that made you decide that that was the right thing to do? And the convenience factor cannot be overlooked. The strong desire to fit in, the tribal thing, the need to be in the hive, in the herd, in the group, not to be singled out for torture, for pain, for punishment. Wherever you get that fear, it's a real fear. You got it probably from childhood. But you know how it feels when you are taunted and teased and plagued and tormented and tortured for your non-compliance with the group. So I understand. This is yet one more group, and in fact, this is a group that's worldwide and has all the authorities and celebrities and everybody, all the moneyed people, all the people that rule things, all the officials. They're all lined up against you. All the teachers, all your favorite news shows. It's not easy to step outside of anything, but I've had to do it, and I had to do it when my conscience weighed on me too much, and I said, you can't be living a lie. I'd rather live the truth and pay the consequences than to be living a lie any longer. Because when I die, I don't want to look back in shame upon myself. I want to be happy knowing I did what I did for immortality. It's a Joan of Arc thing, or whatever you call that. It's living for immortality. It's living for the first principles, higher principles, the highest principles of life, which are that you determine yourself and you determine your life for the best, longest, best, most productive good for your life. In your family and everywhere else. And that's where it gets it. If you include your family in this, and people have had such a problem with this plague being that it splits their family right down the middle. And I really feel for people who have spouses that can't get to this point, but they're at this point and they can't agree. And there's so many people splitting up because of that. But I think it's kind of necessary to flesh out who you really are, and it's a great truth. It's a great truth awakening in a certain way, because you decide, okay, I can't be asleep anymore. I have to choose. I have to actively choose what I'm going to do from here on. I can't just let my habits, speak for me, or my wishes speak for me. You want the vaccine to work, so you believe in it. You just put magical thinking on it. And you say to people, well, when everybody's gotten the vaccine, or when the vaccine comes, or when I take the vaccine, when enough people take the vaccine, it's all about the quantity of people taking a vaccine. It's never about whether the vaccine is the right thing to do, whether it's the right thing to do for people. It's only about the convenience of having your life and having your liberty. And if you know that you're willing to do that, to have your life, and every one of us does a certain amount of that every day, and I'm susceptible because I've worn the mask when I don't believe that it's the right thing, but I do feel forced to do it if I want to go to the stores and get food to eat, or things that I need, I need for living. I'm willing to undergo a certain amount of discomfort, and my justification is that it's a flu preventative as well. So I don't know what's right here on that account. On the, what do we do? Do we everybody decide now that we have to stop doing what we don't believe in, or do we wait? And if we wait, that's a magical thing. I've just put out there that, March, St. Patrick's Day, that's the day. But for me, there's a certain amount of science in that, because I've seen the curve, the high point of the curve is February is the peak month for flu, and for that sort of thing. And it'll come off of that. So I think the cue here is to look at the numbers, and to force the policies to comport with the numbers, and not to let them just take policy away from us when they don't have the science to back it up. And that's how we get out of the plague on both of our houses, is we all have to look and at the justification for this. And we can't just, accept sort of bizarre, capricious, arbitrary numbers to be thrown at us. We really need to understand what's real out there. How do we get that kind of information? We're going to have to do a lot of information collecting on our own. We're susceptible to hearing things and putting, the wrong, coming to the wrong conclusion. But I do believe that the conclusions can be drawn from information that we all work to put together, to compile together. And I think if we start doing our own work and taking responsibility for that, and listening when we hear there are vaccine complications, because so many people will not report them. They don't want to be quarantined on top of feeling ill. They don't want to have a ventilator put on them. They don't want to die so a hospital can get more money. There's a lot of really, really good reasons to stay out of hospitals right now. So, and the best way to do that is to take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your soul, your spirit, and do the things you think make sense. So it's not necessarily a plague on both houses if we can get to the next step that we need to do, the next thing that we need to do, on both sides of this divide. The best thing, I think, would be for us to all unite and to realize that this thing is not in our best interest to keep going, because there's too many players behind the scenes making too much money off of us and too happy to keep us in prison, us under arrest. And arrest means stop, right? It's a red light. When does that light turn green? When do we get back again? We have to start driving. We have to start driving through those red lights, I believe. I think we do. I think we have to bust up some laws. I think we have to treat some things with their reverence, because too many things have been placed on us that are wrong. And it's our duty. If you read your Constitution, if you read your Declaration of Independence, if you read your founding documents, those papers are ours now. They don't belong to anybody else. They belong to us. We're alive in our country. We're the citizens, and it's on us to do this. We can do better, all of us, wherever we are, right here, right now. So let's turn that plague on both houses to a prayer for both houses. Let's pray for both houses, for both sides of this issue, everywhere we are. We can be kind, we can care, but we can do the right thing. We can be truthful to ourselves. Then we'll know how to act. We'll know how to live. Those are my thoughts for today. Bye, guys.